We start with First and Football, and that's exactly where we start. That guy, J.J. McCarthy, had his pro day, and former Michigan head coach and current Chargers head coach, Jim Harbaugh, really was very excited about it. Here's what's kind of interesting. Since his pro day, the odds of him getting picked second, second, have jumped up a lot from 20 plus 2,500 to plus 500. What do you make about all this hype the last month around J.J. McCarthy?
It actually troubles me if I'm rooting for a team that's picking second, third, or fourth, because no knock on J.J. McCarthy, a lot of respect for the kid because he's a winner. And to me, that's the intangible that you look for. All these kids can throw a football, especially wearing, long sleeve shirt and shorts or sweats, whatever it is, and nobody's rushing you. No one's ever questioning a kid's ability to throw a ball. You play high-level D1 football, and while, different kids throw it differently, they can all throw a football, right? Especially when there's no defense playing. So I like the intangible that the kid's a winner. That means something to me. But I always find myself at this time of year waiting to see who the kid is, whether it's a quarterback, wide receiver, defensive end, whatever it is, who all of a sudden, starts leaping up the board and up the board and up the board. I'm going to base my decision, if I'm a general manager, on who I'm drafting on game film, on what I've seen against legitimate competition. I'm not going to pick a kid second and make him the face of my franchise at the hardest position in sports because he had a good pro day. I'm not going to do it. The pro days for kids, in my opinion, second, third, fourth round picks. If J.J. McCarthy did not jump off the screen after the great run in Michigan this past year, or even the year before that, when he played elite level college football, where you think, based on what I've seen in game film, that he's my franchise quarterback, the pro day's not going to convince me otherwise. Now, you also have to take Jim Harbaugh's comments with a grain of salt. It's his kid.
Yes.
He recruited him, he developed him, and he made him into a great quarterback. So he's got an emotional connection to the kid, and he wants to see him do well. So all due respect to Harbaugh, who you guys know I love, who is a great quarterback coach and obviously a great head coach, he's pumping up his own guy. So you got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I also sit here as a Jet fan watching the same damn thing happen a few years ago with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was a credible quarterback in college, led a high-powered offense, no doubt about it, but he was not going to be the second overall pick until that pro day. And he became the second overall pick on one throw where we all went crazy about it, across his body, 70 yards on the line, and hit a receiver in the basket. And we all said, oh my God, that kid's a franchise quarterback. So McCarthy's going to be drafted in the first round. That's now obvious. But my question to you, Willie, would be, if you guys all had Daniels as an example, or Drake May as an example, off of game film, as a higher-ranked quarterback, whether that's because of his size, his arm strength, or how he played in college, how could a guy playing in a T-shirt and shorts all of a sudden overtake him, or those two guys, as the second pick just based on that alone?
I honestly don't know, but I think you can't sneeze at the fact that he was 27-1 in his college career.
I don't. Winning is winning.
11 interceptions. I think right now what's interesting about him, he didn't throw the ball a whole lot. He pretty much operated in a run-first offense.
With Corum.
With Corum, right. So if you're the Giants and you want to get back to the old thing, when you had a prolific running back and a good offensive line, and you had a quarterback that could be a field general, he's the reason why you take him serious. And on top of that, he's only 21 years old.
Yeah.
He's still a young pup. So right now, they're looking at the fact that he doesn't have any significant injuries. He's a back-to-back. Well, he took him to the college football playoffs and also overall national champion. But what you're looking at a kid right now who, by the way, is just primed for the position, right? One thing that Harbaugh did was raise him to be that quarterback in that offense.
Sure.
So I can see why they're taking him seriously, but at the end of the day, your take speaks for yourself.
Sorry, one second. Here's the other issue I have with people now trying to jockey up to get him. There are good situations and bad situations. I think we all agree what Chicago has done, as an example, becomes a really good situation for a rookie quarterback to walk into in Caleb Williams. Yep. They've got legitimate talent there now, which, kind of like C.J. Stroud in Houston, will make it easier to have some level of success in a rookie season. If J.J. McCarthy goes to Washington, which is absolutely on the table right now, or goes to New England, absolutely on the table, and there's no talent there, and there isn't, how could you possibly have an expectation that that kid comes out of the draft and becomes a rock star, at least in year one? I don't see it. I don't. But go ahead, Tim, you want to jump in.
So I've been watching this kid for 2 years.
Right.
Nothing has jumped off the screen for me. He's always been suspect. You know, every time he goes back to throw, it was like, you can hear it in the stands. And in cold weather. He doesn't fare in cold weather. I think he has small hands. He doesn't fare in cold weather throwing a football. When they played against Maryland, he did not throw one pass in the second half. Not one pass. They ran all the time in the second half. So that shows me that they didn't have confidence in him, too. And he was one play from messing up in the not the championship game against Alabama. That interception, if they got in step out of bounds, that one play
could have changed everything.
Could have changed everything.
Well, look, he's moving up the draft boards, that's for sure. And I do like the Harbaugh connection as well. Yeah. But there's always a guy. There's always a guy. You're the first guy, actually, there wasn't even a quarterback. You guys may or may not remember this. And I only remember because he played for the Eagles and because Paul Tagliabue at the time, the commissioner, messed up his name. There was a kid out of Boston College. His name was Mike Mamula. Right? But his real name is Mike Mamula. And Tagliabue goes, and the Eagles pick out of Boston College, Mike Mamula. And Mike Mamula was one of those guys who allegedly was enhancing what was inside his bloodstream prior to the combine and worked out just for the combine. So his numbers were ridiculous. And they forgot about the game film, which wasn't very good. And he was a first-round draft pick and then got his ass kicked by a female bouncer at a bar at Lehigh where the Eagles actually had their summer training camp. True story. And that's when they realized we picked the wrong guy to be a linebacker. A female bouncer kicked his ass. True story, by the way. She may have known karate, but she still kicked his ass.
Yeah. How can the coaching, the culture, and the locker room in Pittsburgh help turn Fields into a successful NFL quarterback?
Well, just because the weapons in which they have on the team. You're talking about Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. They have a really good offensive line. You have an offensive coordinator that's going to kind of fit what he does really well, which Craig can align. He likes to run the ball, and he does great jobs with his feet. But overall, they have to, right now, understand this kid is coming out of a traumatic situation. You get drafted #1 overall. The city's put on your back. You're supposed to produce. That doesn't happen. With all that said, he's going into a situation right now where the pressure isn't on him right away. They have Russell Wilson, and they have a run game, and they have an offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, that can deliver, and they have a top-5 defense. So with all that, if he is, for whatever reason, put in a situation to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers, all he has to do is just operate within the system. He doesn't have to be a miracle maker, which is good for him. Why are you laughing, Craig?
Because you two will never learn.
What happened?
He's not going to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I just say
Russell Wilson's your starting quarterback.
As of right now.
No. As of every game this year.
They only have him for 1 year.
Unless he gets hurt. He doesn't get hurt that often. Justin Fields was not brought in to play. He was brought in to be a backup. And, yeah, it's great to learn from a veteran. I'm good with that aspect of it. But we have to stop this craziness. Don't we have producers on this show that are supposed to be in charge of what we talk about from time to time?
Yeah, at least 8.
I mean, this is such craziness to me that you guys, I don't put words in Jacoby's mouth, he just asked the question, but I feel like he agrees with me based on yesterday.
Why would you think a 25-year-old still has a lot of game left in his...
I don't understand why you two knuckleheads can't get it through your thick skulls that Justin Fields has not earned the right to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He has not played all that well in his first 3 years.
He played better than this
and the reason nobody wanted him but the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 6th-round draft pick to be a backup quarterback was because he stinks. Period. Stop.
So you want us to put our coins in a bucket of Russell Wilson, who was actually benched this year?
Yes.
Who actually got kicked out of Denver?
You know why he got benched? He got benched for financial reasons.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Right? But if you were doing your damn job, they don't have that conversation.
Oh, that's right. Because I remember when Russell Wilson got benched, that they had come off beating the Kansas City Chiefs going into the bye week, and they were alive for the playoffs, and they decided, screw the playoffs, we're going to bench Russell Wilson so he doesn't get hurt,
can attest
and we can save some money.
You
guys have to stop this nonsense that Justin Fields is a good, competent quarterback because he has never been a good, competent quarterback in the NFL.
It's not true.
And I want to know why the hell Brandon Ayuk is having a press conference on behalf of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what I want to know, you crazy people.
Somebody even asked a valuable asset.
They said they're not going to release Zach Wilson. Would it be better for the Jets if he was not in the building come training camp?
Look, he's the third string quarterback. If he's here, it makes no sense for him to be here. I know for a fact the Jets have gotten offers for him. Obviously, I think it's been for, a bucket of balls and a jugs machine and not even a draft pick. But this is the Jets being the Jets. Like, I try so damn hard to put the New York Jets in a positive light, and they make it so damn tough to do it. From Robert Saleh yesterday saying, I'm not going to say that if you don't make the playoffs, it's a bad thing, to Woody Johnson saying, I'm not going to put playoffs or bust and that kind of pressure on them, to all of a sudden, we think Zach Wilson has value?
Yeah.
Did you watch them play last year or the year before that? Or the year before that? Give me my full screen. There it is. Thank you. Way ahead of time. Last. The fact that there's an NFL team that was willing to offer you anything in regards to future compensation, you should have taken it and run to the hills.
Straight up.
I mean, look, because think about it. How many drafts are there? 7 rounds, 8 rounds? Not 7 rounds, right. So Justin Fields, a 6th-round pick, right? Kenny Pickett, I think, was a 3rd-round pick. That was the trade, right?
Yeah.
When they traded him.
Yeah.
If you can get an actual pick in a draft that might become a human being that can play football for you, and I'm sorry for yelling this morning, but and you said no to that, you should all be fired for that. The fact that there's another team dumb enough to offer you an actual football player for Zach Wilson, and you're like, I'm holding out for more. What?
Yeah.
This is crazy talk. I was having a great day. The Knicks won. DiVincenzo dropped 40, had 11 threes last night. And then you guys have to bring me bad Jet news for the 2nd consecutive day. It's killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
I mean, isn't it better
you choose to be a fan?
not in the building? Like, is it addition by subtraction? Aren't you better off with just Zach Wilson not being
Here's
part
what's going to happen. I know it because I'm a soothsayer for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in week 5.
Damn.
Allow me to finish.
No.
This is typical Jets.
There you go.
The Jets are 4-0. We're riding high. We're going to the Super Bowl. I'm an obnoxious a-hole. It's a great day to be alive. And then he goes down in week 5. Tyrod Taylor comes in the second half and leads the Jets to victory. We're 5-0 going into our bye week, right? Tyrod Taylor then decides to go out to Los Angeles to visit some old friends, and the doctor out there stabs him again, and he's out for the year. And then we're left with Zach Wilson, and Woody Johnson goes, thank God we didn't trade him. He's such a valuable asset. And we're sitting here going, son of a... And then after the year, Woody Johnson goes, Robert Saleh's coming back. It's not his fault. I mean, that sounds like Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.